First of all, I mentioned at the top of our program that I really admire you. I think you're great in everything you do.
Well, thank you.
And you know what it is, and I've said this to other people that I like in film, I think your personality always comes through, and that's what's so appealing about you on screen.
Well, and I feel the same way about you.
Really?
Well, no, really. I've always admired your interviews. They're hilarious. You're the best in the business. And frankly, that's why I was terrified to come on for 12 years. I mean,
You were terrified.
You're the Tyrannosaurus Rex of TV. I mean, it's Dave's world, and we're all living in it.
Hey, you're just being silly. Let me ask you a question. You know, we have this woman, I'm sure you heard about her. She was in Yellowstone and had an encounter with a wild grizzly bear and survived and is fine and is going to tell us all about it. Have you ever had anything like that, any kind of wild animal?
Well, your friend Josh just told me about this woman with the bear. And it's interesting. He said that the bear just sort of gently bit her leg but didn't really draw blood or anything? So
we were hoping to keep
testing
that. We were going to save that, though.
Oh, you were going to save that?
There's no need for her to come out here.
Well, I was curious because I thought it was sort of like an al dente. Let's see if it was the right texture, and the bear didn't approve. But no, to answer your question, I did have an encounter with a rattlesnake once.
Oh, they're deadly poison.
Well, yeah, they've got venom, and I found myself, I was trout fishing with my cousin Roman, and I found myself in a rattlesnake patch, and I was literally surrounded by these snakes, and I didn't know what to do, and lo and behold, there was like this stick, this staff with a nail through it, and I thought, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I grabbed the stick, and I thought, then I got faced with this conundrum, if you will, that I don't really want to kill anything.
Right. No, I think that's,
But I didn't also want to get bit.
Well, exactly.
So there you go, and I clobbered it, and then it came up, and it reared its head, and it hissed at me, and then the tail started rattling.
Oh.
And then I just went completely bananas.
Yeah.
Just started hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And I took it and I threw it in my trout pail of water. Because I was brought up to believe that everything you kill, you got to eat. So I took it back to the house and I chopped its head off so the poison didn't get in the meat, and I chopped the rattler off so that I could maybe wear it.
Wow.
But I lost that. But then I barbecued it. And I'll be darned if it wasn't delicious.
No, it wasn't delicious.
It was delicious.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was your summer? Did you do anything special?
Well, actually, it's funny you should ask me that, because you know I have an interest in zoology, I think, and I just acquired 2 king cobras.
Oh my God.
A male and a female, and the female's name is Shiva. And the male's name is Moby because he's an albino, so it's like Moby Dick. And I have them behind 2 computer-locked doors behind bulletproof glass. And I like to go in there. Well, actually, if they bite me, I won't get bit, but if they do, I've got 15 minutes to live, so I have to get like an antidote, which is next to the cage, and I just plunge into my knee and I'll be all right. That's not going to happen, but I like to go in there in my red leather chair, you know, with a glass of wine, and watch them as they're watching me. And sometimes Moby will sort of do this little charming snake dance and show his back to me. He's got this like little round circular pattern on the back of his back, and he's doing this dance, and every now and then I'll just turn around and go, "F you, I want to kill you!" So after that, I have to just sort of I say goodnight, kids, and I go upstairs. I have to lie down and think about what just happened. It's kind of like driving 190 miles per hour in a sports car with a scotch. The adrenaline level goes up. You know?
I didn't realize that about you.
I actually discovered this about me this summer recently. But I like all kinds of animal life. I always have, and I think they're beautiful.
Be very careful.
I will. Thank you.
Now, you've been making movies for a long time, as we ran down some of them in your career. How did it begin? Is it the kind of thing where when you were a kid, you knew automatically you wanted to be an actor, or in films, or connected to films?
I distinctly remember I was 6 years old, and I was sitting on the living room carpet trying to figure out a way to get inside the TV set, because life in the TV set seemed so much more interesting to me than what was happening. at home. And so I thought, well, how can I get in? They had the $1 million movie at that time. Now, movies cost a lot more now, but I wanted to be a part of the $1 million movie. So that was my first recollection of wanting to be an actor. And then when I was 15, I started working at the Fairfax movie theater selling popcorn and tickets at the concession stand, trying to figure out how to get from the stand to the screen. So I always wanted to be in film.
Right.
And I had idols, heroes like Marlon Brando and Jack Nicholson and James Dean and Eastwood, and that's really what I wanted to do.
Right. But still in all, even though you're in a theater watching movies and selling popcorn, it's an enormous leap then to actually being in the...
Well, that's...
How were you able to take that next step?
But that was where the dreaming came in, and the desire and the power of imagination is really what kind of motivated me. But even when I was 8, I was making home movies with my brother Christopher.
Right?
And he would make these little films with a Super 8 camera, and they were very intense because I was 8 years old, he was 10, and we did this picture called The Unknown Circus. I call it a picture, but it's just a tiny little 8mm home movie. But I played a trapeze. I played the tightrope walker, and he was a trapeze artist that was jealous of me, and he was shooting me with a gun because of something involving a girl. This is going on when we're like 8 and 10, so it was
pretty advanced,
pretty
really.
advanced, yeah.
And what did the snake say to you again?
Well, and he's done it several times, so I know it quite well. He said, "F you, I want to kill you."
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify. Many things to talk about since the last time you were here, not the least of which is, I believe you're a newly married man.
I am indeed.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, when you're an Academy Award-winning movie star, does that make it harder or easier to find women with whom you might fall in love with?
Oh, I don't really think about it in those terms,
right.
And I'm sure when I met my wife Alice, she certainly wasn't thinking about it in those terms either.
It's none of my business, but what was that? Where did you meet exactly?
Well, I was in Las Vegas, which has nothing to do with where I met, but I was there with some friends, and I'd been in that mode, and I got back to L.A. and I was looking for a cocktail. And
because Las Vegas, I think, is dry. Isn't it? Can't get a drink in Las Vegas.
So it was late, and I thought, well, where can we get a cocktail? Nothing was open, and so someone suggested we go to Koreatown in Los Angeles, and we went down to Koreatown, and I walked into this nightclub and had a drink, and there was this beautiful young lady, and we got to talking, and I left my number with her, and then I didn't hear back from her for about 3 weeks. And she called, and I said, oh, listen, why don't we go out? I know some Indians at the bottom of the Grand Canyon who are friends of mine. Why don't we go on a date, and I'll take you to meet these Indians from the Havasupai tribe.
Wait a minute.
No.
Do you say that to all the girls that you meet?
No.
Meet the Indians at the Grand Canyon?
No, this was the spirit moved me. I love this place.
Right.
I love the canyon, and I go there for hikes. And there was this beautiful waterfall, which I wanted to take her to. So I sort of got permission from her mother to take her.
Wait a minute, Nicholas.
Well, I'll get back to that. Yeah. So then... So we flew to Arizona. We got on a helicopter, and the helicopter flew into the canyon, and we had like the Ride of the Valkyries, you know, like you remember famous in Apocalypse Now, zipping through the walls of the canyon. We landed, and we went on the hike, and I could never find the waterfall. We got lost, but we had a nice little picnic. And I had to get her back by 11 o'clock, so I got back on the plane. And then, but I said, well, look, we got 2 more hours. You know, I don't want to. I want to spend some more time with you. Would you like to spend more time with me? And she said yes. So I turned the plane around, and we landed in San Francisco.
Oh my God!
And we had a nice romantic dinner, and then I got her home, and to the minute, I dropped her off at 11 o'clock to her mother's house.
Was it a school night?
I mean, oh, you were waiting for that. Well, listen, you know, it's no secret that I'm an older man, and you know, and I had to sort of do it in a very old world,
Doing the honorable thing.
courtship
Well, I
thing.
respect that.
Thank you.
But let me correct something. You are not an older man. I am an older man.
Please.
That's the way that works.
No,
but that date is like a movie in itself, for heaven's sakes.
Well, I kind of try to live my life like an art.
Wow, good for you. You look to me like you're thinner than I remember, or am I misremembering? Are you?
Well, it's true. It's interesting. It's kind of bizarre. I was in Africa about 1.5 years ago making a movie called Lord of War, and I was in the desert in a place called Pella, and I've gone home from work, and there was a cobra in the road. And I don't know why when I go on your show we talk about cobras, but here we go again. And I thought, this animal is beautiful. Back up the car, let's look at it. And the cobra saw us, and he reared up his head and he hissed at us, and then he lunged at the car and attacked the tire of the car we were in. That night I went home and I had a dream about the snake, and I thought, man, I'd like to have a snake waist. Like, that animal has a 2-inch waist. I'd like to be snake waisted. I'm a 32, but so I've been working out ever since. I cut the portions down. Went to 5 to 8 miles of running. I'm on like the Cobra Craig diet for weight loss.
So this did something for you spiritually as well as physically, then, right?
Well, I don't want to sound like I've got my head totally in the clouds, but I think all animals are spiritual, and the snake is a spiritual animal. I don't think deserve the bad rap it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I do love all animals.
Yeah. And you mentioned
I have a snakeskin jacket or two, and I feel very guilty about it. Well, I have blood on my hands, and I want to make amends. So all you cobras and snakes out there, I'm sorry.
Here's what a great guy Nicolas Cage is. He said, you know, I would like to try and do something different, a little something out of the ordinary, something special, something to distinguish my appearance here tonight. And I said, well, your very appearance here tonight does distinguish itself.
Oh, thank you.
And then tell them what you would like to try to do here.
Well, no, we were talking about the fact that my character can see 2 minutes into his own future.
Yeah, that's the movie next, yeah.
And I said I can't do that, but I do recall that when I was 12, I could hold my breath for 2 minutes.
There you go.
When I was 12.
There you go. So you're going to try that. When was the last time you did that?
When I was 12.
When you were 12.
And so I don't know that I can do it again, but I will try.
Okay, so anytime you're ready, we have the clock right there. Well, I guess we put up the clock on the screen. There it is, right there. Okay, anytime. You tell me when you're ready.
Well, wait a minute. All right. Ready? You go 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, I'll do that. 5. No, wait a minute. How about I'll do 5, 4, 3. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start the clock. Okay, it's good. All right. You know, we might as well look at the clip while you're holding your breath. Can you? This is a chase scene, I understand. Is that correct? This is a scene from Next. It opens on Friday. Nicolas Cage and Jessica Biel. Take a look. You see? Very nice. And what a tremendous cast. Julianne Moore, Jessica Biel. I don't know. What do you think? 20 seconds. Oh, my God.
I just want to say, I'd like to see Spider-Man do that.
Yeah! Exactly. What about it appealed to you initially?
About New Orleans?
Yeah.
Well, it's
For one thing, they're the guardians of the flame. They still have gas lighting.
Oh, yeah.
You can go anywhere in the world, I don't care, Europe, anywhere, they don't have the gas lighting out by their incredibly old homes. And they have that in New Orleans.
Very romantic, very evocative.
Very romantic and evocative.
And you own a home there.
I do have a place there.
Is it what they call in the Garden District? Is
It's
that where it is?
actually in the Vieux Carré, which is called the French Quarter, and it is a very notorious house. It's a very famous house.
Really? And notorious meaning and not
Meaning it's allegedly the most severely haunted house in the United States of America.
actual haunted house?
Well, that's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. And so at any given moment, I have like 5 or 6 ghost tours surrounding the house, all looking up at this haunted temple, and I'm in there. And when I leave, sometimes I hear people go, "It's him, run!"
What does that mean?
Like, why are you in that haunted house? You know?
And did you know at the time of purchase that it was haunted?
I know if I answer that, I'm sticking my foot in it, but yes, I did.
You did. Yeah.
I did.
And you said fine.
I said fine.
Yeah.
I try not to have a narrow mind about things.
Sure.
So I was open. I was open to the, some people have beachfront property. I have ghost front property. But having said that, again, I try not to have a narrow mind, but I'm not going to go on record with anything. I do know that I get 5 or 6 requests from parapsychologist groups to come into the house, and I won't let them come in. Yeah, because I don't want them. I'm trying to have respect. If there's something there, I don't want them being exploited.
Wow, that's really, I think, insightful and considerate. But Nicholas, how old is the house?
I think it goes back to about the early 1800s, 1834.
So a long history there.
Yeah, long history there, and not a pleasant history.
Yeah.
There's 2 sides to the story. One is that these things actually happen, which I won't go into detail because you will be horrified.
Okay.
The other is that the woman that owned it was a victim of one of the first examples of a victim of what they call yellow journalism. So having not been there, I can't say.
Right. But now, without being specific, how does your family react to staying in the...
Well, we'll come over and have dinner there, but nobody sleeps there. And I will sleep there. I will at some point, but I will be alone when it happens.
Now, have you experienced manifestations?
Many of my friends who are around the house and are there say that there are doors opening and closing on their own volition and doorknobs turning. I can't go on record with having seen it myself. I don't know.
Again, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, but would you say that having these specters or beings, whatever they are, is a pleasant experience or not a pleasant experience?
I mean, again, I'm not going either way if I do or don't believe in this sort of stuff.
You're afraid that they will take some sort of measure of vengeance.
As I said before, I try not to have a narrow mind about these things, but I'm not going on record with anything.
Yeah.
But you did have a point to your question. What was it? You asked me a specific question.
I forget. I have no idea.
There was
wow, this is weird.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to sell the house, and who could blame you?
I don't know that I can.
Yeah,
I don't know that
you
I can because I'm what I like to call inextricably linked now to the house. Because they're all out there every night, every day, saying, "Oh, this is Madame LaLaurie's house, and by the way, the ghostwriter lives there too."
Yeah.
So
well, see now there, when you bring up the ghostwriter, I mean, you're asking for trouble.
I realized that after the fact.
Yeah. I find this fascinating because
It
you
is.
probably love the home.
It's a beautiful home. It is a beautiful.
Have you had any work done on it?
No. I didn't restore anything. It's actually been well preserved. It was made by, I believe, Italian gelati
Oh, is that right?
makers.
Wow.
Some of the first Italians that immigrated to New Orleans, and they were making the gelati. So ice cream makers made the most haunted mansion in America.
It's an odd combination of things, isn't it?
It's just that's New Orleans.
Yeah.
Just
But
this
wouldn't
wonderful
it be
mix.
great if you woke up one morning and right there next to your bed was a fresh assortment of lovely gelato?
See, that's what I'm hoping. But
That's just, of course.
what they tell me is that the Phantom is a lady and that she likes me and that she goes into my bed and leaves. The housekeeper says, Mr. Cage, every morning there's a dent on your pillow and there's an imprint in the bed of her.
So she's
And she
visiting
keeps trying to
your bed. Yeah.
fix the bed, and
Yeah.
and it keeps going. I haven't seen it, but that's what they're telling
Yeah,
me.
well, I'd give that a shot.
Yeah. I might get some gelati.
Yes, exactly. You spent some time, or maybe you still do, with Charlie Sheen.
Charlie?
Are you guys buddies?
I think so, absolutely. We
What, you know,
occasionally-
he went through a kind of an exciting period. What? And he says that some of what he was demonstrating he got from you. For example, referring to his girlfriends as goddesses. He says goddesses is a term that he actually heard you use.
Well, there is some truth in that, yes, because we were flying from LA to San Francisco, and I did refer to a flight attendant as a goddess, but I had no idea that 23 years Charlie would make it an international reference point for the women in his life.
Yeah.
But I had much worse things to be concerned about on that plane than that.
Like.
Well, I did not know that Charlie had an 8-ball of cocaine wrapped around his ankle. Nor did he know that halfway through the flight, now remember, this was over 20 years ago, and it was a very innocent time, that I was going to grab the PA and announce to the passengers that I was the pilot and that I was not feeling well and that I was losing control of the
No,
aircraft.
you can't. Good Lord.
No. And then when we landed, the pilot came out and
I'm not feeling well.
And understandably, he was very angry.
Yeah.
And I quote, he said, quote, not cool, not cool, end quote.
Right.
And then he pointed his finger in my face furiously, at which point the door to the aircraft whooshed open like a nuclear gateway to a bank vault to reveal 6 fully armed police officers.
Oh, buddy.
And the first thing I did was say, first of all, he had nothing to do with it. And I pointed to Charlie.
Oh.
And then I just very gingerly, very politely, very delicately, kindly talked my way out of going to airport jail.
Yeah, because with it's not so much what you did then, but your buddy, you're talking about possible federal time.
Well, I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah,
So, but I just knew that it was not a good situation.
But
and again, it's in my past.
In your
well
past,
over 20 years.
And you
ago.
couldn't
Just
pull
kids.
You couldn't
Just
do
kids.
that. No. Yeah, you're just kids, and a lot of fun at the time, and you had a lot of laughs. But I just want to get this straight again. You get a hold of the aircraft PA system,
Right?
And you announce, "Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
This is your
This
pilot.
is Captain."
No, this is your pilot. I'm not feeling.
I'm not
well.
feeling well.
I'm losing control of the aircraft.
This is your pilot. I'm not feeling well. Oh my God.